good afternoon. 1 o'clock on Tuesday, the
17th.
Is it the 17th? Yeah, I didn't even know what date it was. Lose track of time this time of year, I think.
Just fall into like that void.
Yeah, it is
Just
that void
near
of like
Christmas.
literally just waiting for Christmas to happen.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the build up now.
so you're not really watching stuff on telly and that, because, and even though I am like, but, you know what I mean?
Flat.
You just sit there at night, just like wait, just sort of counting the hours, playing a bit of UFL.
It's actually a really good game.
I'm enjoying it
Better
so
than
far.
FIFA though. Because
I don't play FIFA. I
I know,
can't.
but PES always came out, and PES was
PES is the greatest game of all time.
yeah,
no,
maybe
no
like
arguments.
in like
No
2006, but
No
not
arguments.
recently. It's not a thing anymore, is it?
It's not a thing anymore because they tried to make it like
FIFA.
no, they tried to make it like this UFL and they got it all wrong. What I like about this UFL is, very quickly, whilst we're talking about it, thanks for ringing up, James, is it has that Master League element of it straight away. So you have to, it's Master League to me, to you, it's Ultimate Team. So straight away, you get a rubbish team.
Yeah.
There's no licensed teams in it. And you have to build a team
Just
playing online games. And I like that. I quite like that. You're playing teams, you're not playing people who've got Messi and all this straight off the bat. You've got teams who, you're having to build your team. You get a couple of good ones in your team. Mine's Danny Ings. He's sensational. Oh my, full head of hair. He's absolutely brilliant. He is absolutely brilliant. And I'm enjoying it so far. And I'm enjoying that element of when you go online, you're playing against someone else who is also, unless they've like gone and paid money for players, you're playing players who have got just normal teams of football, and there's not this mad thing of everybody like. Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying it. I know loads of people are enjoying Marvel Rivals, but I've had a little dip in on that, and it's too much. The learning curve is just far too steep for me. Anyway, there you go. If you're playing UFL, I think actually me and Baz doing a UFL series might be quite good.
I think so too.
Because it is that idea of starting from the bottom and playing. I don't even think it's
a road to glory.
Yeah, like I'd actually, and having to buy.
Is it a divisions like type thing?
Yeah, there are. Yeah, but having to like be clever with your money because you can't.
You got to think about if you can
probably
invest
take
in
you
your
a few.
winger.
Probably take you about 10 games to buy one player, and then another 10 games. So, don't know if anyone else is playing it, but I've enjoyed it, and it's free. It's free as well. It's free. I know it wants all the microtransactions, but a lot of them are just for like kits and boots and stuff. So,
yeah, but if a really good Everton one came out, would you be tempted?
Everton not in it, mate. There's no Everton in it.
Oh yeah,
There's players, all the real players are in it.
but just
like
not Merseyside.
But there's loads of Adidas who got the licenses, so all the Adidas kits, loads of different boss. There's one boss Adidas kit in that. It's beautiful. I'd have it in real life. It's sensational. Talking about kits, see how we did that. You like that, James? That's how the pros do it, my friend. We have 4 class. Well, they're not. I wouldn't say the classics. There's definitely one classic Everton shirt there in the Black Watch kit. This one, if anyone knows, this is basically Everton's last kit, I think, at Anfield, and Liverpool's first kit. This was Liverpool's first kit. This is a new range of like historic kits that are available in the church. If you go into the church, St. Luke's, there's a gentleman there who's got a big. Basically, I think you buy to order. So if you go in, he'll give you a little look at what he's got, and loads of classic kits. And when I say classic, I'm talking like, early 20th century kits. So obviously you've got like the one that probably I'd imagine inspired the first salmon pink. Yeah, Black Watch obviously is a classic one, which we've Everton obviously remade recently, which I managed to get, and I haven't got it in here. I managed to get the one, from a couple of seasons ago, the Hummer one. Yeah. And it hasn't got Kazoo on it, and it's got a straight line all the way down it. Oh, chef's kiss. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Absolutely superb kit. So, yeah. Big thanks to Richie Gilliam for bringing them in yesterday. He dropped them off yesterday and been waiting for them for a while, to be honest. So yeah, these are the classic. We love our kits, and I've got a kit thing in my head, like a little kid video series.
Yeah, there's been loads of people asking about it.
I've got a little series in my head, and I think it'll be really good. Not only will I show you some of the kits that we've got, but I've got some new kits in mind, and I'm gonna show you I'm gonna show you how they're made. Rich, my kit guy, Rich, my kit guy, he has agreed to film at his end, and we're going to show you maybe the process of buying a kit and going through the stage of not just a kit, because I've got a template that Rich is going to do for me. Very famous Everton kit, but it's the template. It's not the kit. It's just the template, and I'm going to show you the process of where I got it, where I bought it, getting it to Rich, him doing his end, and it ending up on the wall. So got a few of them to do. So basically, the title of today's video is "What do we want from the Friedkins?" This is more just in response to. Obviously, we're expecting James, the Friedkins, to take over sometime this week.
Yep.
Lots of speculation, and it might be tomorrow. But you can never know. You can never know till it's done. I put a tweet stroke
Blue
sky post last night saying basically what I want is for these people to come in and run the club properly, have a plan, know what that plan is.
Yeah.
Try and bring in the best people. Again, this goes off the back of yesterday. Someone's just put in the comments before, why don't you mention the Everton tweet yesterday? Have you mentioned it?
Oh wow.
So I put like a little short out yesterday of some of the things that were mentioned on that, and got different responses, and that's fine. Some people are like, "Oh, you've got to start forgetting about all this NSNO stuff," which I have no issue with that. I'm not like this person who's like, Everton must have the greatest of the great. I believe in this day and age, what you can do is, as a football club, is do everything smartly. Is get the only way you can't. What Machiri did wrong was. He tried to do what the big boys were doing, and it massively failed. But what he didn't realise at the same time was the world was changing, and the processes of beating the big boys, clubs like Brighton and Brentford, and you know what, Liverpool as well. They were changing those processes, Moneyball style.
Yeah.
They were starting to understand how to use Moneyball in football. So whereas we went at it with Machiri of like spend, buy everyone, buy all the talent, buy all the lesser talent, and then make them better. And when we say lesser talent, he was buying lesser talent for 30 million quid, whereas Brighton and Brentford and all the other clubs were starting to buy these players for 2 or 3 million quid.
A bigger pool of players.
Yeah, and then bring them through. So he got it completely wrong. So obviously, what people are like, you can't have this NSNO thing, and I get that. Mm-hmm. But you can go and bring in the best people that are out there to put in the best processes at the football club to start making the club work smarter, not necessarily harder. So I think there's a definite opportunity to do that, and I think a lot of there's a lot of Everton apologists out there. Let's get it right. I have no problem mixing my mince. There's a lot of apologists out there who believe that any insult on Everton is like an insult on the institution, where it's not. It's not. You can take away Everton. You can remove Everton as the thing that we all love from the people who run it, and you can put the blame on. Not all of them, but, the people who need to put the blame on. So it's not the institution of Everton. It's whatever, is going behind running it. And people can't get away. They're so protective. They're so, anytime you mention it or anytime you bring it up, it's like you're doing a big disservice to the football club. I've seen it a few times in the last few weeks, people saying, just not understanding. I think some people just don't understand modern football the way it is now. And I'm not saying I understand it massively, but I do know people who understand it, and I just listen to them. So for me, it's just important that the Friedkin groups come in. They do everything that, they try and get the best people they can for the jobs that are there, and we start moving to a situation where we are never, or certainly for the next very, very long period, we're never going to be able to catch up Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City, Tottenham, any of those big six for a little bit. Yeah. We're not, like, in terms of like financially, like, we're still tied to PSR, and Mark Douglas has done a piece today saying that even though the Friedkins are going to come in and change everything, January will still be very, very tight, because the PSR wise, we don't have the money to just splash around unless maybe like a Dominic Calvert-Lewin is sold or something. So what does everyone want from the Friedkins? So I'll start with you, James. What do you want from the Friedkins? What are you looking for when these people come in and take over our football club? What is the objective they need to be striving towards?
Well, I think already, I spoke about this last time, but since I've joined this channel, there's been that constant like overhanging dark cloud of, the owners and
Are you talking about yourself then?
Oh no, not I don't know. But there's been that sort of cloud going over of whether we're going to keep these owners. Whether we're going to get these owners, whether we're going to keep Dyche and stuff like that. So I think initially they've already started with a bit of clarity on the ownership of what's happening with Everton. And I think now you need to understand what their plans are going forward. And you were speaking then about Man City and Chelsea, who are two teams who have recently invested. And I think if you look at both of their academies and sort of what players they are producing, I think that, for me, that's sort of what Everton should be striving to go for. Because nowadays, you look at any young English players and they've always had a stint at either City or Chelsea. And not only does that beneficial to like the first team, but it's also beneficial to making money and being able to spend money in the future. So I think, for me, what I want from them is, rather than what Mashidi done and, going out spending 30 million on 5 different players, that you sort of prepared Everton for the future and sort of invested in the club. Yeah. So that, say, we spend 30 million on 5 players on 5-year contracts, and then it comes to the end and there's no resale value on them, which happened. We invested like in the academy where we get the best change, we get the best everything that we could get. And then in the future, we're relying on the academy more, and whether it's the sales or the players coming into our first team, that's sort of what the focus is for Everton. So I think for me, that's sort of what I hope they bring, is that we do have more of a reliance on the academy, because, as weird as it is, some of my favourite players for Everton, or favourite times of players, is like the ones who came through like the Tom Davies and the Ross Barkley, that genre of player.
You have an attachment to them, don't you?
So I know ultimately Andy Gordon wants to leave, but I'd like to be in the position in the future where he wants to stay and wants to make a bigger Everton and go to that next level at Everton rather than going on, which is sort of what I think Chelsea have got wrong. It's because the players like Conor Gallagher and stuff like that who have had to leave for them to be able to, keep spending as much as they do. I feel like that is sad, but for Everton, my main hope is that we make more of the talent from inside rather than purchase it like we did under Mashidi.
Do you know what? I mean, that's a really good point. And no, you're absolutely right. A lot of people often say young players, local players get it tougher. But I think they always get it at first. There's always that bedding in period. I'd always rather see a young local player being in Everton's team. And you're right. And I think Everton have started, I hope, that process of turning the academy round. Listen, there's been a lot of whispers for the last 2 or 3 years, probably more. I think it might go back to when Everton got done for trying to pinch other people's players, and there was a ban on us bringing them in, and it just seemed, I don't know, the standards, from what I was led to believe, just seemed to drop. We heard stories of coaches from other teams witnessing bad discipline is the best. Bad discipline from some of Everton's younger players. People that we spoke to didn't believe the facilities were up to spec. It felt like standards had really, really dropped at the football club. And I think if they drop at the academy, what does that say about everything else at the football club? Now, I'm not saying this to be controversial, and I'm not saying this to badmouth anything. These are what we were told. And if Baz was sitting here, he'd absolutely agree with me. And I know there's other people who work in the game who would say absolutely the same thing. Now, over the summer, what I will say is, I feel like Kevin Fwell, one of the first things he's tried to do is get hold of that academy. Now, I think Mark Douglas, again, did a piece about a month ago, maybe less, about the really long, detailed piece in the Eye about the academy. Probably about 3 weeks ago now. And I think it painted a very pretty picture of the future. Don't know if it was 100% accurate, because a lot of the words were coming from the people who worked there. So, of course, they're going to have a brilliant view of it. But I do think things have changed in the academy. I think over the summer, I think what we saw was,
they signed loads of young talent.
Which we've seen before, by the way, in Machiri's sort of first summer. The Everton under-21s becoming this almost like de facto second team, and we were paying like 4 or 5 million quid for players, which is mad when you think about what we spend now on players. we were spending all this money on talented players who had already played like championship games and stuff. Very strange. But in the summer we bought a lot of talented players, and I think we elevated the under-21 side really quickly by bypassing, because Everton have had a problem in the last few years of getting a player from the under. We've seen a lot of talented players in under-18s and 21s, and not being able to jump to the first team. Anthony Gordon is one of few. And listen, a lot of football clubs might say that, but you're right. In the summer, we went out and we brought in talented players. I think Omar Benjamin again scored last night. Now, he's someone who come in for nothing, but he's someone we got from Arsenal. He seems to be very talented. He scored again last night. Everton drew 1-1 with Leicester. So there is talent out there, and in the under-18s especially, you know, where we've brought a few players in there that definitely seem like they could be could do something for us in the future. And of course, like Braden Graham, who a lot of people are talking about, who a lot of people think he could be, a very, very talented player. And listen, you said it before, these players don't make the first team as such. There's a sell-on value. We'll make money on all of these players. They'll have benefited from playing at a club like Everton for 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years, and then could be sold on. So you're absolutely right. It's something Jurgen Klopp identified straight away at Liverpool, was he had to start getting more out the academy, because when he came in at Liverpool, we had the dominant academy. People would go to Everton rather than Liverpool because he felt like they had a chance of getting in the first team. And now look how much that's changed now with Liverpool, with that team that helped win the Carabao Cup last season. How many of them were young players, local players, and obviously the emergence of someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, which there's an irony at that because he'll probably go to Real Madrid in the summer. But he gave him his chance, and those players aren't getting that chance at Everton, and they're not getting that chance right now. Pathways are blocked because the manager prefers older players.
Well, you look at when you were saying then that Everton were one of the better looking academies. Look at how many players from that actual team made it in the Everton team, and there's none really.
Yeah,
you look at how came through Liverpool.
From the one who won the under-20. Well, put it this way, right? Me and Baz used to go on that year. Me and Baz would go and watch the under-21s quite regularly because there was a real buzz about them, and we ended up winning the under-21s game. League, didn't we? The Premier League too. And it was just a couple of things on that. So we went to watch the last. I think it was we played the Goodison. We played Liverpool.
Yeah, that was the.
And we already won it. I think we lost that game.
Yeah.
But we ended up watching. There was a lot of buzz about John Joe Kenny and Kieran Dowell, and the best two players on the pitch by like a country mile was Trent Alexander-Arnold and Joe Gomez. Like they were well better. Like Trent, you watch Trent Alexander-Arnold, and you were just like you. And we had John Joe Kenny, who's the captain. And it's just like he is miles better, miles better. And I think straight away there was that thing of like that team was like, and we all bought into it in a way, but that team was like, got to win the league, and they were developing players, and that having Trent has saved them he's won everything. He's been amazing. And okay, he might leave for nothing. Believe apparently there's £100,000 difference in what he wants between what Liverpool are willing to offer. But they were looking for that, and that's where like Everton's downfall in that area started to come by spending. They were spending money also on players coming in, and that's probably stopped other players developing. And
do you think as well though that whenever you see people talk about Tom Davies, there's always a thing that he was really good when he was young, but then because the managers were constantly changing and the tactics were constantly changing, and he was getting told to play further up or further back, that he never really got coached properly to become a top player, which he could have eventually been. Do you agree with that in a sense?
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. I think Tom was stopped from being...
He could have been...
His development was stopped. No matter what you think about him as a player, I think his development was stopped because he should have been allowed to develop, and Koeman brought players in that summer that stopped him.
Yeah.
And then he was moved about and never found that true position. When he first come into the team, he was so free and he ran with the ball and he had a couple of tricks, and by the end of it he was holding midfielder. It just didn't make any sense at all. So yeah, his development was stopped because it was that thing of like, oh, we need to get from here to there now. And of course that's football and everyone buys into that. You want to be successful, and that's what we're open for. I think a lot of people are open for with the Friedkins is that we have those plans in place. So if we have a right back, let's just say a young right back. Oh no, I'm just saying, if we have a young right back, at some point, that almost instruction has to come down from the director of football to the manager to, we need to have him in the team.
Yeah.
He needs to be playing. He's our future. We need to be giving him games. And there'll be other positions in the club like that. If they feel strongly about a player, you've got a Harrison Armstrong. If he's that good, if Manchester City are looking at him, then you've got to get him into having more games of football or have him out on loan. That one of those two things has to start happening.
Yeah. And
that comes from having a plan, a long-term plan, and that's obviously what we don't have right now. So from the youth side, it can be improved massively, and we need to start changing that. But I just think in general, I want to see, as I said, the Friedkins come in, have a plan, a long-term plan. And I think that's where when we talk about a new manager, that's what we're talking about, Sammy, because ultimately, Sean Dyche is the here and now in terms of being an Everton manager. His MO hasn't changed. It's keeping Everton in the Premier League. He's not bothered about developing players. He's not bothered about Harrison Armstrong or Patterson or whoever. He's not bothered. What it's all about is, for him, playing the players that'll keep Everton in the Premier League. And we have to get away from that idea. We have to have a long-term plan, and that's what I hope the Friedkins do. It doesn't have to be all shiny and blown, all kinds of promises that are blown out of proportion. It has to be, for me, just a long-term plan that the Everton are going to be invested in.
Yeah,
we're going to invest, but we're not going to invest like we're going to go out and spend all this silly money. We're going to have players in the team that complement each other, good young talent.
Yeah,
I think me and Baz Dunn spoke about it last week, didn't we? Like the idea of like next season, if you, not saying this team will be good enough, but next season you could have a team that effectively, or half a team that effectively is our players that are sitting on the bench right now. So your Jake O'Brien's, your Pattersons, your Tim Bunhams, James Garners, young talented players, because we've got so many players out of contract. So what do you do with those players? You need a plan for those players. Do those players go on loan second half of the season? Do you sacrifice those players because you've got your Michael Keanes, who are Dominic Calvert-Lewin's? You got someone like Schmidt you could play. Now, I don't know if those players would be good enough, all of them with other players, but you've got to have a way. You've got to have a way of having them in the team.
Yeah, because I was speaking about it to Baz as well, about the exact same situation, and it was more so like Everton have got so many players who are out of contract next season and so many aging players that next season there's a good chance that Irabunum or James Garner probably will be, but Irabunum could be starting for Everton or being a very good shout at it. So it's whether he's going to be sitting on the bench for the rest of the season or not, but it's also whether the manager that comes in maybe wants that player of his style rather than what we're currently playing with now. And I think for me, what I was saying to Baz as well was that if the Friedkins have already made a decision on whether they're going to sack Dyche, when did he make the decision? As these two results,
it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, because there's a January transfer window where there's a lot of decisions that have to be made about players, whether they're gone out on loan or whether you're going to be offering them contracts or whatever. So I just feel like it needs to come quick, really. And
that's it. No, you're absolutely right, because there are big decisions that need to be made. Because number one, the manager. Number two, the director of football, who's out of contract indeed as well. And then there's there's a dozen players who are out of contract via either being on loan or their contracts are coming to an end at Everton. And decisions need to be made on that, and they need to be made quick. And you have to make sure, you have to decide what you want, because you've just said, January, as I said, Mark Douglas is saying January is going to be tight, because it is, because we are still under PSR pressure. We don't bring money into the football club, and that's what so that hasn't changed.
Yeah.
The new stadium, of course, from next season will start helping that massively, but that hasn't changed this season. We still are losing money hand over fist, because the loans that we've brought in are, what we're paying out for those loans is ridiculous, because they're like payday loans. So the money's going out the club, it's not coming back in. That puts massive stress on PSR. So of course we just because these new people come in, the way the rules work with PSR now is that you can't just go and spend, because it's new money doesn't mean you can spend it. It still comes down to the rules of what your club has done. So then you have to make a decision. Well, do you sell someone? If an offer comes in for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, do you sell Dominic Calvert-Lewin? Now, Dominic Calvert-Lewin being sold right now, it would be because how much we paid for him. And
just be pure profit.
It'd be a lot of it, so it'd be do you make that? But then that's a decision the director of football and the manager have to make. But what director of football, what manager? Do you know what I mean? It's all entangled. Quick decisions need to be made. Now you could make no decisions and go, what we got, we keep. That kind of thing, which is very much, I think, a Sean Dyche way of thinking anyway. It's we just get through the season with what we've got, and then we not that we deal with it at the end of the season, but the plan is in place. New manager. I think the director of football will stay, and because the director of football will be planning for next season, because it's nearly impossible. By the way, 12 players won't be out of contract, I think, at the end of the season. I think people like Adesanya and Gay will be given a new 1-year deal to see them through. And I've said this before, and I don't want to make this who would you, wouldn't you? I'd have no problem giving, say, Ashley Young another year.
Yeah, for the
just to. By the way, I don't want to play in, but just so you've got another body in your squad. Yeah. And you've got to look at it. It's
sort of what everyone wanted this season from Ashley Young, wasn't it? Yeah. He wasn't going to play much, but he's there as cover because he can do both sides if we need him. But then obviously, he's actually played quite well, and he's probably fairly in the team, but you'd like to think they're planning further ahead in the future.
No, and of course, you can't just drop 12 players. You can't do that. And none of the lone players are
Mangala.
No way I'm paying 20 million for Linton. Not a chance on this earth or any other of the multiverses. I am not paying. And Mangala, I'm not paying 20 million for Mangala. I'm not just going, you've played well in a few games, here's 20 million. Yeah. I want a long term. Everton have done this far too many times. He's done really well. Let's just give him the money they want. No. Let's stop and think and see how it all fits into the structure of what either a new manager or a new business model works. You can't just be dropping 20 million quid on a player because he's had a few games. Brozier makes a cute run down the wing and people are going, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. Grow up. When the lad starts putting the ball in the back of the net, then we'll have a little talk about whether he's worth keeping or not. Not just because he picked the ball up and done a run. Honestly, some people, I think some people sometimes get a little bit carried away with
People are just excited. It's been bad for so long.
I know, but Dom actually done quite well on Saturday, playing up front on his own. So that's we have to make really rational decisions. But like you just said, all those decisions are going to come at once.
Yeah.
But that's what people in big organisations are good at. You know, there's not. I imagine there's not a day when something doesn't happen in the world they live in, where whether it be, you know, cars, hotels, on a movie set. I mean, he produces films. I imagine all kinds goes on on a film. You know, that's a producer's job. A producer's job is to sort out all the problems. You know, whatever it is, location, money, acting like a dick, whatever it is. It's their job to go in and go, no.
Yeah.
You're not having any more money. You work with what you've got. No, and you, actor, sort yourself out, and all that kind of thing. So, I think loads of people in the comments are just like basically in a plan. And I think that's fair play, isn't it? I think a plan is definitely. I just wanted to judge the mood on terms of like, because I think I think there's an idea maybe from the outside, and then it starts circulating with the inside of the fan base is like everyone thinks that the Friedkins coming in is like gonna make us a powerhouse again. Is gonna like go, wow, we're
gonna spend 300 million on
exactly
everyone.
But I think most fans are like, no, because we've done that and it didn't work, and we are seeing the way the wind blows now and how football works, and football doesn't work like that. In fact, it's not allowed to work like that because of PSR. And I think most of us are savvy enough to understand that first and foremost we need to get new good people into the football club. Wash away very careful about what I say here. Wash away the type of people in the football club who can't move on from what has been going on in the last 20 years. They need to be washed away, as far as I'm concerned. And allow the people at the football club who are young and hungry, who are feeling like they can't do anything because of the people above them who are stopping them from being like that. And that means a culture change. And that's the first thing that has to happen, a culture change within the football club, brought on by new owners who put a chairman in place who hasn't been at Everton, a board in place that haven't been at Everton, proper professional people who go, this is a business. With that stadium, we've got an opportunity financially to elevate this football club, and we need a new manager who's got a vision that takes us forward in line with the director of football, who, as I've said, I think will stay, just because it's harder to get rid of the director of football in this day and age than it is a manager, because they're the ones who give everyone a job. So I think for most people, it's just about putting good professional people in there, the standards being a lot higher, and that includes not putting tweets out about clean sheets. And therefore, everyone just goes, no, we're like a proper outfit now. We're getting run like a proper outfit.
Is it sort of like, say if you won the lottery and you just, the first time you just spend it on all Lamborghinis and everything, and then all of a sudden you've got no money and now you've got to learn how to properly manage the money. I think that's sort of what Everton have been like under Mashiri. We just bought everyone. We had like 8 number 10s for no reason.
And you know what the worst thing about that is, James? The worst thing about that is Everton as a football club, we're in the perfect position to move into the new era of football that we now know with Moneyball and PSR, and we were absolutely already doing that under Moyes and under Martinez to an extent, because when we brought Lukaku in, that was basically all our money for 3 years. We leveraged basically all our money for 3 years on Lukaku, and it didn't work. It did work because we sold him for 3 times as what we bought him for. So it did work. He
scored a lot of goals.
And he scored a lot of goals. And he gave Evertonians, you mentioned it the other day about like being, you know, the Chelsea game in the cup. He gave a lot of Evertonians a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it? That's what it's all about. But we made that decision, and it turned out to be financially a really good decision. But we were in the perfect position. And when Mashiri came in, we all got carried away and didn't take stock of the way the wind was blowing.
Yeah.
And we made an absolute mess of it. That, of course, is why we are where we are. And because we made such a mess of it, though, we actually missed that boat. It's like having Baines and Coleman, isn't it? We actually invented attacking fullbacks. And somehow we find ourselves now with two massively defensive fullbacks. Like we created that culture of the future, and now we're sitting here going, oh, imagine having attacking fullbacks. Like, we did. We had them. One of them still on the bench, and the other one is coaching the under-18s. Yeah, we were in the perfect place. So it's so annoying that we have to sort of go, oh, we have to go back to doing what we were doing 10 years ago in many ways. So, yeah. I've seen a couple of comments there about Fwell. Listen, very much like I was on the same way I was on the side of Marcel Brands. It's the same way I'm on the side of, sort of on the side of Kevin Fwell.
He's an interesting one, isn't he?
I don't know whether you can actually turn around and go point fingers at Kevin Fwell and say it's all on him. Yeah. I agree he's made mistakes. I agree that he's bought some players. There are some players that we brought in. Mopai's the one, right? Yet I am aware that Mopai... Put it this way. When we signed Mopai, right, there was 2 or 3 on the table. And Frank Lampard didn't want the other ones.
Okay.
Right? One of them, I think, has gone on to be very successful. One of them, I think, has had injury problems. And the other one is Mopai, right? So, I think Mopai was chosen because he was a Premier League striker.
Got that experience.
And he was expected to just add that Premier League experience. The one we missed out on, yeah. But Fwell doesn't, let's just put it this way, Fwell doesn't like just buy the players. Everything he does is in hand with the manager.
Yeah. But here's the one thing that I thought about Fwell is that, do you find it worrying that when he misses out on a target, he goes back in for them? Or do you find that positive? Like, you know, the way with Danjuma and stuff.
I think...
Like, they go to a different club, they don't do well, and Everton's still going for them.
So, what that's based on, I believe, certainly at Everton, with the money we've got, is relationships. That comes down to, you've done all the work on bringing a player in, right?
Yeah.
You've looked at them. You have identified their strengths and weaknesses. And for whatever reason, something stops you. So with Danjuma...
Shouldn't have went back in for Danjuma.
Tottenham
yeah,
come in and wanted him. Everton had done all the hard work. So when it came to the next season, basically Everton said, has this player got any worse? And the answer was no. So therefore he was available, so Everton went and got him. And that's the way they've done all the hard work. So they're like, why would we walk? He's available now 6 months later. But it isn't always the same picture though, is it? No,
like
but
with Danjuma, he might have not got worse, but you've seen he didn't take to the, well, he's already in the Premier League, but he didn't take to life at Tottenham well.
No, but I think I think maybe under a different structure, like the one
like the way
we're going into now, that will be seen as like we move away. But in this structure right now, I don't think Everton can afford to sort of scrap everything they've done.
Yeah.
So that's the way they look at it.
Yeah.
So listen, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know.
It's always the same names that we're always really close to or we're going after, and I don't know if that's always a good thing. Because I mean, I don't get that. And Dye's good and I'm happy with him, but obviously he went to Marseille and didn't do well. And then we went for Lindstrom, who also didn't go on to do well.
But I think
just sort
the
of-
Ndiaye thing was exactly the same thing. No, Everton tried to sign him before he went to Marseille, couldn't afford him.
And then could. Yeah.
And when the opportunity arose that they could get him, they got him. And that's the way they look at him. That's the way they look at it right now with limited resources.
And then with Fwell as well, it's sort of whether him and Dyche are both on the same page about everything.
Yeah, well,
Which is like, you can't really put all the blame on him.
I mean, again, I can't argue with that. That's a different thing. Again, it's like,
because you look at like O'Brien and stuff, and it's like, which one of them agreed to it? Because it doesn't really make a lot of sense now that we're in December and he's featured like twice off the bench and started once.
O'Brien's is. I know there's a lot of frustration with O'Brien, but I think I think it's more of a case of if Branthwaite leaves next summer, O'Brien is ready to step in.
But is he ready to step in?
Well, he's already got a year's experience. He will already have a year's experience of being at a Premier League club, and hasn't just come from nowhere. I think that's the plan. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the point being is he will have a year under his belt of being at a Premier League football club, have that experience. Probably they would have thought he would have had maybe more games. Maybe he's not the player they thought he was when they signed him. I don't know. But he's dead. I think it's what irks people is the fact that we could have got somebody else for a different position.
The investment went there when
the investment went on him when it could. But at the same time, I don't know the details of the deal.
Yeah,
we could have him on absolutely unbelievable deal, couldn't we? John Textor at the end of the day done the deal and he thought he was buying the club, so we could have him on an unbelievable deal. I don't know. I can't sit here and argue for it, and I'm not going to sit here and argue for it either way because I don't know. I absolutely don't know. If money wasn't an issue, Jake O'Brien signing last summer would sort of be a no-brainer with the Branthwaite situation because you've got a player ready to go. You always want a player the season before.
Yeah, because you look at like City, and their players never hit the ground running, but then the next year they're just world beaters, well, apart from the season.
Well, they're adjusted, aren't they? And whether they're training every day with Premier League players, so they're already adjusted. Yeah. And you would think, and you'd want, if you were in a better situation, that he'd had a few games by now, and have a few games in the second half of the season. That's what you'd hope for.
Do you think, the way you go back, you spoke about Carlo Ancelotti saying he's not here to develop players. Do you think Dyche sees that it's very unlikely I'm going to get a contract, so why would I put the time into Brian when I could just play Keane? And I've got that reassurance there.
And that has to be factored in, doesn't it? On like in the future, that has to. That's why he's not going to be here next season because he can't. He doesn't. He's not He's never had a long-term strategy. He's a manager for the here and now.
Yeah.
So again, you have to look at that. But Fwell, listen, I'm not going to tell anyone Fwell should be staying at the job. People in the comments saying, "Oh, he's a red" and all that kind of thing. Well, that's factually true. Some people saying, "Well, where was he?" Well, before Everton, he was at Red Bull. He was at Red Bull, wasn't he? In New York, and he'd been at Wolves before that. And I think the reason why they thought it was a good opportunity was, number one, he's a local lad, understands his dad's an Evertonian, understands the traditions and everything else of the football club. But I think working within the Red Bull system is what they will have looked at and gone, this fella's keenly aware of how you are almost developing players for another club.
Yeah.
And therefore you've got to know where to look. And he's a systems guy. The second floor at Finch Farm is just full of like data rooms, analysts. Now, he's put those systems in place. Yeah. So if you sack him, all those people, jobs are like,
rid of them.
You're going to get rid of them because it's like an old manager. When you sack a manager, and it used to be like, everyone gets sacked. It's not like that anymore. So at Everton, if Dyche got sacked, it'd essentially be Woney, Stoney, and him. And all those other people who do all that other work, they're part of Fwell's team. If you sack Fwell, you've got to get rid of all those. And you scrap the systems that he's put in place.
Yeah.
And that's where getting the director of football thing is really interesting now. And you have to get that right. So I couldn't sit here and tell anyone. I know me and Baz went back and forth over Marcel Brands.
Yeah.
But one of the things I used to say about Marcel Brands was, Marcel Brands is clearly very, very good at his job.
Yeah.
And wasn't allowed to do his job. So if you're going to have a go at, say, Macheri, you can't really have a go at, the way I looked at it, was have a go at Brands. Because if Brands has not been able to do his job, and I think one of the great strategies of the Moshiri era is the fact that we had Marcel Brands at the football club with Marco Silva. And we f***ed it all up. Like, we absolutely, if we'd allowed, Marcel Brands wanted to keep Silva. He wanted to keep him. That was like the dawn, wasn't it? That was like the dawn of the Moshiri age. Was though when those two sat there and they were like, we're getting rid of Wayne Rooney and like we're clearing house and this is the new regime and Richarlison's coming in and you know that was the new regime. We got Luca Dean. That was the new Everton, wasn't it? That was like Moshiri 2.0, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. The second summer when Ghana went and we had Kurt Zuma didn't come back. We didn't replace those. We didn't replace those players, and everything started going downhill.
Didn't he fail into Corey as well? Do you want to get
we should have really listened. Yeah, we tried to get the Corey then. That's when a director of football, you have to let them do the job, and we didn't. And that's when basically Brands was always going to be facing, you know, an uphill task.
Yeah.
When Carlo come in, it was like even worse for him. It was like, I'll sign the players for you then. And then when Benitez came in, Benitez brought his own recruitment people in and basically made Marcel Brands, he was on gardening leave essentially, you know, and we've made massive errors, massive errors, and that's why I do find it hard when I think in the last 18 months Fwell really has got a grip of the job because Moshiri's not been anywhere near it, and there's no agents been buzzing around and all this kind of thing, and this you know, Fwell has finally got hold of the job in the last 18 months. Because before that, it was the owner, the chairman, these agents were all having this say on recruitment. Sign this player. Why don't you buy this player?
Yeah, we've had like multiple loans, haven't we, where they've barely even played, like Josh King and El Ghazi, Vinagre and all stuff. What was the point in them never coming to Everton? And they've sort of gone, haven't they?
Yeah.
But
it's... No, Brands really was. Emma used the term there, sliding doors. I think that's for Arteta, yeah. But he really was. They really are. They're different. They're different times. Simon, that's why they brought Fwell in, was to create something based off the Red Bull thing of like, you haven't got their network, but you take the parts of that. You take, you know, you've got a guy in the middle of it. Let's see what he's all about. He understands the strategies. He knows what the Red Bull machine's doing. Let's have a bit of that. And that's why one of the reasons why we brought him in. Again, I don't know if that translates into where we are now. But I do believe that Fwell has changed a hell of a lot behind the scenes. Now, whether it's working or not, you know, we don't know, do we? Because unfortunately our hands are tied. There is a long list of players that we tried to sign that we simply couldn't because we didn't have money to put on a down payment.
Do you think it's one of them though where he's changed the systems that you won't really get the effects till like, say, 5 years time?
Well, for the young players, yeah. For the youth players, yeah. If they work, of course.
Yeah.
Now, the other part of that is, I believe there's a strategy of having all of the all the teams playing in the same way. But how can they all play in the same way as the first team when no one knows what the first team plays? So does that mean that they all play in a way?
The attackers just don't get to play in
lads, leave the centre forward 30 yards that way, please. I'll drop off a bit.
No fullbacks, lads.
Fullbacks, no. Where you going? Fullbacks in the under 18s are actually 25.
So wasn't that the case for a while though, that there was loads of old young players in the academy? Like they were all like 23 and 24.
Don't forget, like Unsworth had Nias playing up front in games just so they won the like Premier League 2.
Yeah, I remember.
Which is again unbelievable. Sorry, I've just had some horrendous news.
What are you?
They're getting rid of carbonara for Huel as well.
Carbonara and korma.
Yeah,
Is carbonara your favourite?
They're like my favourite too.
Oh man.
I'm devastated now. Don't know what to do with my life. Don't know what can. I don't know what to do with my life now. See, I blame people. This is people's fault for not having a more developed palate. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And yet people eat pot noodles. I don't know what to say.
Just people asking for Niasse back now. Remember he scored against Liverpool? That was a great day.
For Hull, yeah.
And he won 2-1. Everton won that day.
Yeah. Yeah, for Hull, yeah. I'll have a look at some of your comments now.
You're just taking the news of your carbonaras gone.
Devastated, if I'm honest. I'm devastated. I don't know how to process that. Devastated. I don't know what to do about that. I'm coming for the pot noodles. I don't know how to live my life. I don't know how I'll live my life without korma and carbonara.
Well, just get butties.
I'm not getting butties. Butties make you fat.
But they're dead nice.
But they make you fat. Full of sugar.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's have a look at some of your comments. Graham says all we ask for from the Friedkins is for stability and positive evolution. That's what I like. Not so paper. Like he says, many say they want Dyche gone, but surely it would be more logical to replace Fwell with a new Toffee, who can then start the process of rebuilding the football side of Everton, and become a higher and far of the managing coaching staff. Okay, I think we've gone through that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Gary Ward says, job one, sack Dyche. Steve P's gone off on a massive tangent about Arsenal's retro varsity jackets.
Did you look better than the Everton ones?
No, they're amazing.
Yeah.
No.
The Everton ones.
They're amazing. Everything Arsenal, we did this, didn't we, in that video? You've got to become a fan base that, buy everything.
Yeah. Well, you look at Newcastle fans, and I don't think I've ever seen a Newcastle fan not wearing a Newcastle shirt. Anywhere they go, they're all wearing like the shirts or the jumpers and stuff. And
the proud. That's why, because they're proud.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to wear shirts, give fans something to wear. Give them something cool to wear. That's what Arsenal do. They give their fans loads of different cool Adidas stuff to wear that they'll spend money on. People have money, you know. I mean, there's like a thing that people don't have money. People have money. People go out every weekend and spend lots of money on different things. Give them something cool to wear, and they'll wear it.
Look at Ty from Arsenal TV. He has everything Arsenal.
Yeah, but he's an absolute
even
weirdo.
His headphones.
Yeah, he's not right. Everton Viking says, I want to see, number one, new board, CEO, chairman within the first week. New heads of positions in terms of getting the best people possible for the individual roles, be it marketing, sales, get the right people heading up teams that get us sponsors. New structure, investments around the first team, women's and youth team, investments in scouting, analytic department, new manager. So everything, you say just everything. Basically everything. And he says, I just hope today is actually freaking Eve. Yeah, you can't have it going, because once you get like past tomorrow, then you're in Christmas territory.
Alan Myers tweeted out saying it's going to be either Wednesday or Thursday. That's why people have started saying it. And then people saying, what's with the uncertainty, and that sort of brewed a bit of frustration on Twitter.
Is there, yeah?
Yeah. Because people are saying, why is it now? Everyone was saying it's Wednesday. Why are they now saying it's Thursday? What's changed? So I think that just get it announced. That's all.
See, once you hit Thursday, I'm just.
Didn't you say the last working day was Wednesday or
for the Premier League? Probably. They probably clocked off Monday.
Yeah. So
no, I'm just trying to think of it in terms of like us. Friday's a no-go because it's you've got the manager's press conference and stuff.
Yeah.
It just be Friday. Also, the stadium should be getting handed over Friday, because Friday would be, I would imagine, the last working day of before Christmas.
Yeah.
So you think that the stadium, and you wouldn't want both things unless like literally the Friedkins were at the stadium.
That'd be cool.
That would sort of be cool.
Yeah.
And it was like they did the press conference down there and stuff. I don't know, because we were in hard hats and it'd all look a bit silly, wouldn't it? So the stadium probably, I'd imagine, would be getting handed over on Friday, even if that's just ceremonial.
Yeah.
Because people could still...
Like the cut and ribbon thing.
Yeah, because people could still work.
Yeah.
Like
the interiors
over the weekend and stuff to get the little jobs done. Because there's a few little jobs to be done, like the back road nearest to the wall.
The pipes.
And the wall. No, the pipes, that's all done. Don't worry about all that. They just need to press a button. Someone's being lazy. There's loads of little jobs that need doing. I imagine they'll be working around the clock this week to get all those little jobs done.
I mean, well, the new deadline's basically next season now, anyway, for like them little jobs. The actual stadium's done now.
No, but the contract for Lango Rock is the end of this month. That's after this month. Lango Rock face penalties, so they have to give us money. So Lango Rock
they'll want to be done.
They'll want it to be done. They'll have their workforce, and you want to have stuff done in on time. Yeah. It's good luck. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
The PR of it, isn't it?
It's a really good look to say we got this done in time and look at it. It's unbelievable. And everyone goes, "Whoa, I'm getting them to make my stadium or whatever it is." So, I'm just trying to think. Tomorrow will be ideal because we haven't got a lot on tomorrow. So it'd just be really ideal for us. Yeah. But I'm just thinking of, the less other things going on, it's better, isn't it? Because then we can devote more time
to it. Yeah.
Well, when we devote all our time to it, but then John says I would keep Fwell after that. I'd be looking to replace the leadership across the club from both football and business perspective. New board, new manager. Jez D says a monorail, Pier Ed to the Bramley-Moore Dock on to Kirkdale or some other station. Failing that, hovercrafts. Yeah. That's what he wants. Fair play.
It's right by Sandhills, isn't it?
I know, but I do think that, we should have
another station.
No, we should have there's we should have trams, and I know there's these trackless trams now, and that's what we should have in this station. So we should have a tram that goes, say, from John Lennon Airport, starts at John Lennon Airport, and then its next stop is, say,
town,
Liver Building, essentially around there, and then its next stop is Everton Stadium, and then its next stop is Anfield.
Yeah, it's a bit of a drive, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's a what?
Seems
you have buses who go fair.
No, but you've got to get all the tram tracks and stuff.
No, there's no tracks. I literally said that, trackless trams.
Is that not just a bus?
No, it's a tram.
Trackless tram is definitely a bus. What's the difference between a trackless tram and a bus?
A bus has wheels like a car and goes broom broom.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense for.
Does it not? Well, it makes sense to me. So shut up.
But what's the point of having? I just don't know. Just do a bus.
No, because buses are wider. Trams are thinner.
Just do a thin bus.
Google trackless trams.
Can they drive on the road?
But where else are they going to drive?
So why don't you just get buses then if they're on the road?
God, why do you hate everything? Why do you hate everything?
Just get a bus.
Yeah, but it's not economical. Listen, I don't know. I just
feel like it's a bit of a drive for the trackless tram.
Why is it a bit of a drive?
That's a long drive from.
Yeah, but people need to get places.
Just do more train stations.
Train stations cost £100 million to build. You are aware of that, aren't you?
100 million.
£100 million to build. And then you got all the logistics of changing the timetables and everything for all the other stations. It's a massive commitment every time.
How much does a trackless tram cost?
Don't know. Google it. You can get one on eBay.
Get one for the.
Bryn on the super chat just had a dog hugging something. But Bryn, thank you for your super chat, my friend. You haven't actually written anything though. But thank you. That is very, very nice of you.
People are backing me up about buses and Trackless Tram.
No, I know, but there is a difference because I agree they are sort of like that. But my point is they take up less space on the road, right, for a start. Yeah. So basically, you could just say a tram's a bus, couldn't you? But it just on, or you could just say trains on a bus. But the difference is these things are like.
But they'd have to share a road, wouldn't they? And then if something got on the road, there's no wheels, so it's just going to scrape it.
But there are wheels.
So there's wheels on.
There are wheels.
So it's just a bus.
No, I hear what you're saying. I'm not disputing what you're saying. But buses, you can have electric buses, fine, right?
Yeah.
But I think they're supposed to take up less space. They have them in Belfast, right?
Okay.
So for like the airport, it just makes more sense. They can listen. I don't know the ins and outs of it, do I? I used to work on the railway. For me, I'd have train stations all over the shop, right? They're very expensive, right? It's costing the one in the Baltic. It's going to be 100 million quid, right, to build a train station. They take 3 years to build. So if you could just get this trackless tram, right, started at Liverpool Airport, goes all the way into town, then it goes to our stadium, then it goes to their stadium, then it goes all the way back to the airport. Because at the moment, people have to jump on a bus and go about 80 million stops to get into town. So what we want is something direct. It's not a bus, though, is it? I mean, it is a bus, but it's not a bus. But it's the same way as saying a train or a tram is a bus. They're not buses, are they? There's obviously distinctions. I don't know what those distinctions are. Maybe we'll do a show on it. What's the difference between a bus and a trackless tram?
It doesn't get announced tomorrow, that's what we'll do.
I don't know. Well, just do a bus then. Do a bendy bus that starts at the airport and ends up at our and then goes into town, and then goes to our new stadium, and then goes to their stadium. I just like this idea of anyone who goes to their stadium has to go to our stadium first.
Yeah,
I like that idea. I like that.
Take them to what was Goodison Park before us.
Yeah, I just like that idea.
There, take them to that.
But this isn't a soccer bus. This tram runs all the time. All the time. You don't want it. See, this is the other side of things, right? You don't want something. You want something that goes like every hour to our stadium on a non-match day and then to their stadium. You don't want a thing that only goes to it on a match day. Again, people need to start thinking 365, 24/7 about our stadium. Trevor says there are still train tracks running from John Lennon Airport, or John Lenton Airport, as he said.
Only Falklands Cross now.
The only what you could do, and I know this has been, I heard the mayor talking about this a couple of weeks ago, but it was like something he would not really looked at, but he said that they were going to investigate a tunnel from Hunts Cross Station, from the Parkway, a tunnel to the airport. So they could just do a shuttle, but it probably cost about £1 billion, and it just wouldn't be worth it.
That's what's like in Amsterdam, isn't it? The train station's right in the airport.
It's like that in loads of places.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense.
Paris has one that goes into Paris and one that goes to Disney.
Oh wow, it's very smart.
It is
one that goes right to Goodison. I mean, Bramley Moore. Oh yeah, that's what you're saying, isn't it?
That's literally what I'm saying.
But
Abby says trackless trams are electrical powered with rubber with tyres. They look the same. What? That they look the same normally. They just don't have a track to run on. Yeah, they had one in Liverpool the other week. This is not like a weird concept that I've just come up with.
But it has rubber tyres.
No, I know it does.
Have a track.
I know it does. And I do understand the fact of what you're saying about a bus. But if you had something that started at Liverpool Airport, right? Went straight to the Liver buildings, let's say. Or by round there, because then someone could just jump on a train at St James, right? Then went to our stadium, then went to their stadium, then went back to our stadium, and then went into back down to the airport. Say, then
makes sense.
That makes sense. Now you can call it whatever you want. If you want it to be a bus, you can call it a bus. I'm not disputing that. It's sound. I'm not. Do call it whatever you want. Or yeah. Ian says Britain's message was a super sticker. Oh, thanks of a dog for giving someone a hug. I like that because I like dogs and I like hugs. Only have certain people. Yeah. Infrastructure is a very expensive, but you know what? This city has to start investing in infrastructure. And I've said that. Listen, if you want to call it a bus, call it a bus. It's not a bus though. It's a trackless tram.
Well, Manchester have trams that go right to the Etihad, don't they?
Yeah.
So
Everton, this city has to start investing in infrastructure. Yeah. It's something we haven't done and we moan about. I've seen people moaning about the station getting built at the Baltic, right? But how ridiculously busy is the Baltic? Yeah. You know, you're a young person, right? It's ridiculously busy, isn't it? And yet you have to walk to it from town. I remember before Liverpool 1 was built, the Albert Dock felt miles away, right? And then when they built Liverpool 1, suddenly the Albert Dock felt dead close. Yeah. So more people go over to the Albert Dock now, I think, because of Liverpool 1, because of that interconnected.
It's a reason to go over there.
It's dead seems dead close. And I think this has come up this week with, like, Paul McCartney played at Manchester, didn't he, last couple of Sunday and Saturday, I think it was, or Sunday. And that arena is 24,000. I went to one in Paris that was 40,000. There was a rugby team who played in that stadium. It was an indoor, unbelievable. It's where the Olympics swimming was. And yet, I've heard people, when I've mentioned, say, the Friedkins building a big arena next to our stadium, going, why do we need a new arena in the city? So we've got an arena that holds 11,000. So Paul McCartney played Manchester for 2 nights and got 24,000 a night, so nearly 50,000 for the 2 nights, right? Yeah. So that'd take him 5 nights in Liverpool. He's 82. He ain't playing 5 nights in Liverpool. And no artist in the winter is going to come to Liverpool and play at a small arena when they could play one night in Manchester and get double the people. And yet we have this thing in this city of, like, this is why Manchester is so far ahead of us as a city. Trams. Yeah. They built trams. They built an infrastructure on trams.
That Co-op Live's so good as well.
Exactly. Yeah. And they've got the Co-op Live. I went to see the course at the other one, and it's massive. Yeah. It's like 20,000. It's like, and in this city we've got one that's got 11,000, and people think that's acceptable. We don't, in this city, we don't think outside, and yet we've got 3 now football stadiums, and there's no way to get there. There's not even a train station. There's not even a train station for either of them. Liverpool gets visitors every single day, and hopefully we do in our new gate. And there's no, you have to walk 10 minutes to get there. Now people go 10 minutes. Go somewhere like New York, Paris, Milan, London, where you can literally go anywhere you want, and there's a tube station right next door to the thing you want to go to. So whether you call it a bus or a tram, we need one. We need whatever you call it. We need one.
Go back to the buses.
You need one. It's mad. I saw people when I got off the plane the other week of Paris, it was like 10:30 from Paris, and I'm seeing people queue to get on a bus. I'm like, I wonder how many places there are that happens. Like, I don't know, mad. Bryn says on the super chat, let's get new. Bring on Bams. Love you, lads. Merry Christmas. Sorry, buggered up the last one. Nice one, but you look like you've buggered up that one, to be honest, as well. But thank you very much, Bryn. All the best. That's your 5th super on a live stream, I've been told. Yes, I went to see the course, and they were really, really good, my friend. They were really, really good. Told you my missus is Irish. They were really, really good. Do you know what, right? It's no... people are fascinated by musical choices. Like, you went to see... Who'd you go and see last week?
Sam Fender.
Yeah, Sam Fender, right? Was it good?
Very good.
There you go. The lad enjoyed it. Yeah. Right? Is it your cup of tea? Maybe not. He really enjoyed it. I went to see the course. They were really good. I enjoyed it. Why does that make other people go, the course? You went to see the course? What? You know, I find that really weird. I find that... What you going to see last night in the pictures?
Craven.
Was it terrible?
It's crap.
There you go. Right? You might sit there going, I loved Craven. It was amazing. Yeah. He thought it was rubbish. There you go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you didn't spend your money because you've got a limitless. You wouldn't have gone and see it if you had it.
No. Limitless is the best investment I've made, though.
What a lad. No, what? This is what I'm talking about. If I'd interviewed him and he'd said, I've got a limitless card, I would have given him the job. I didn't interview him. I was in bed. He's in bed. Michael, I am not, and I reckon James will concur on me this. When I've called someone a goth, I've not mentioned music once, have I?
No.
I've not actually criticised them.
You just mentioned they don't drive.
I've not criticised them for their music. There might be some goth music that I like. I might look at the music and go, I like that song, that's a good song. I would never categorise anybody by what band or what style of music they like. Because I might like one of those songs or two of those songs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But
then you say you liked a Linkin Park song the other day and that's a bit gothy.
Yeah, Linkin Park are a bit gothy, but then you stick it at the end of a Transformers film and the next minute it's like, dance, come on, Optimus, lads! Glenn says, it's false that my favourite member is Jim Core. Yeah. Hey, The Cure are great. Got loads of boss songs, The Cure. Do you know what I mean? Goth, I never criticised anyone for the music when it came to being a goth. In fact, I never criticised anyone for being a goth. I just explained that they were a goth. I never said whether it was a good thing or bad. I never said anyone was worse off in life for being a goth. I just said they were a goth.
Yeah. I just listed about them.
I never criticised James for not wearing Toffee TV merchandise. I just highlight the fact that he doesn't wear Toffee TV merchandise. That's all it is. He's a man who likes wearing the kind of clothes that someone in Argentina climbing a mountain would like. That's all I'm saying.
I'm ready.
Very much. This guy, Patagonia, was created for this guy. And I'm talking about the mountain range, not the clothing brand. I'm not going to see Slipknot tonight. But you know what? If you are, have a good time. Yeah. Put your mask on. Well, I'm not sure if you can wear masks at these things anymore. It's like going into Disneyland. They stopped letting people wear costumes.
Why?
Because it's like, you know,
too good.
Terrorist threat.
Oh.
Basically. Do you know what I mean? Ian says, do I like trance music? I like some trance music. I like a bit of everything. You can't put me in a box. I like a bit of everything. Emma says, I don't like any goth bands, just for the record. I'm actually an old school raver. There she go. She's a raver who just likes dressing like a goth. That's all it is. That's all it is. So fair play to Emma. Listen, Emma's a good egg. She plays along. She does her part in the joke. She gives it back. That's why Emma's sound, because she gives it as good as she gets it. So I've heard. And do you know what I mean? That's what's good. That's what's good. That's what we want. Chris Byrne, who got engaged on Sunday, who's got little tiny dainty fingers, he plays me a bit of mean goth tunes now and again. We all can like what we like. Let's stop criticising people for it. That's all I'm saying. If you like whatever you're into, I've said before, right? If you want to identify as a door, identify as a door, my friend. No issue with that. No issue. If it makes you happy, as long as it doesn't involve hating somebody else, then you do you. That's what I say. So James going to watch Craven on a Monday night. Where'd you go?
Switch Island.
Did you switch Island?
Yeah. Got off the nice seats.
Fair play. Who'd you go with?
Me three mates.
It's right. I like see that. That's a great example of a modern society. Who drove?
Never drove. Got the train to Kirkdale, went to Nando's, then went to Limitless. Yeah.
What train station did you get off at?
Aintree.
Fair play.
It's a bit of a walk.
Bit of a walk, but I like it. Didn't think just get an Uber from the train station?
We got an Uber home, but we walked to the Nando's in the retail park. It's right by us.
See that? I like that. Young men going out there, watching Craven.
Yeah.
Hey, knowing it was going to be terrible before they went. That's what I like about that. That he knew it was going to be terrible, because I told him it was terrible. Yeah. Not that I've seen it, but I know. Fair play. Fair play. There you go. Have we got all
tag's all done.
Is it all done?
Yeah. It's meant to start right now, actually.
Well, it'll start at past. Yeah. It'll start at past. There you go. I think this has been a productive show. Yeah. I've enjoyed it. I think you've all enjoyed it as well. It started with a really serious thing and then went into our trackless towns, buses. And I think that's the question.
It's all Everton related.
It is all Everton related because people, that's an actual genuine thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it? People want to know how they're going to get to the new stadium. And I think that's important. And also we're talking about the city as well. If we're going to improve our city, we need better ways of getting into the city from the airport or from Lime Street. We need better ways to get down to the new stadium. So I think this has been a really good show. If you want to know where Baz is, he's doing the overlap. Ooh. And I know a lot of you will be very happy. Emma, James didn't have me off. What he did was he pointed out something that made me think.
You didn't consider.
That I haven't. Well, I mean, there is always that thought in your head, isn't it? Of like what something could be something else. It's just by another name. But there's loads of things you could do that all the time, couldn't you? Really? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a good example, but
exactly. One will come to you.
Yeah.
One will come to you.
I'll say it on M-Tag.
One will come to you. But that's the truth. Is a bus, is a trackless tram just a bus? And what makes them different from each other? That's something we have to think about. And I'm just going to leave that out there, right?
Or is a tram a trackless bus? There we go.
Not a trackless bus.
I mean a track.
A bus on tracks.
Yeah.
Is a train just a bus on tracks?
Wow. We're asking the real questions.
We're asking the real questions here, aren't we? We should have a YouTube channel just dedicated to what is this thing? If
it's a transport.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Right, we're going. We'll see you over on More Than a Game, where we'll be discussing stuff about people failing drug tests and maybe, apparently, the re-emergence of the Super League. So someone keeps on putting in the comments. Yeah, he mean it too. Right, catch us all later. Bye.